Hey guys, I wanted to do an impromptu video, an impromptu review video of my main camera, the one that I use all the time for pretty much every video. I use it for overhead videos, I use it to take videos and photographs outside of flashlight beam shots, use it to take art videos, all kinds of things. So the Sony A7C, I think this is really the perfect, one of the best cameras that you can get if you're a creative or if you're looking for a camera that pretty much does it all. And it's also relatively small. So if you look at the size of this camera, Sony have also, got the, I think it's the A60-600, and it's pretty much the same size, except this one, the A7C, is a full frame camera, so you're going to get much better you get much better quality videos, better quality photographs, and better low light performance as well. So obviously you're paying a little bit extra. I've actually got two different lenses that I purchased with this camera. So I got the Tamron 28-200. So this is like a do-it-all lens. This is fantastic. It's basically allows you to get super close. So even if you're into nature photography, you can get really close into birds. This is another lens that I got with the camera. It's the Sony SEL 2860. So it's basically a 28 to 60 millimeter lens, as you can see. And what I like about it is that it's just so small. It's one of those pancake lenses, and yeah, very easily you can fit this in a bag on the camera itself. It does expand out, as you can see, a fair bit, but in its sort of closed form, it's just so easy to kind of carry this thing around, and surprisingly good performance as well. Obviously the aperture isn't too large there, but yeah, low light photography, you probably want to get a camera that goes down to 2.8, a lens that goes down to 2.8. But yeah, this is a really good one, especially if you're traveling. I tend to carry this one around with me if I don't want to have a large sort of lens. But yeah, again, like the 28-200 is fantastic, and it's not huge, but yeah, again, you sort of, you're obviously like gonna have to sacrifice if you want that extra zoom. One thing I really like about this camera is that it has a microphone jack in here, an external microphone jack, and this is really important if you're filming from a distance and you want to focus in on basically a subject. So this is the microphone that I have with mine. It's the Rode Video Mic Go 2. Fantastic microphone, and it also doubles as a USB microphone as well. If you've got a USB-C adapter there, plug it into your computer, you can use this as a normal recording microphone. Okay, so this is like a mini shotgun mic. So basically you point it in the direction that you want to record in, and it records that way. It comes with this bit of foam on the front as well. I only use this when there's a lot of wind. Otherwise it kind of muffles the sound a little bit. Okay, it just sounds a lot better without it if possible, but look, this is great, especially when you're filming outdoors. I'll stick this on if there's a bit of wind, and yeah, basically, you plug in this little jack here to the side, like that, and then up the top of the camera, there's this little area here that you basically just pull out and slot the microphone in. Oops, screw it in like that, and yeah, it stays. So probably do it on a little bit tighter, but it makes for a fantastic little miniature recording rig. The second slot here, just undo that. So that is where you put the SD card. It's only a single SD slot. No, some cameras hold two SD slots, and it's more of a backup. It would have been nice if it had two SD slots in there, but I haven't had any issues with it not saving or corrupting or anything like that. Okay, I think that's just to keep the size of it down. And this bottom panel here is basically the HDMI jack, mini HDMI jack, and you've got a USB-C jack in there as well. Really cool thing is that you can actually connect this camera to your computer with only the USB-C jack, and you can stream without using even another recording card. But the issue is that it only streams in 720p, so I ended up buying one of these things here, basically a HDMI video capture card, and connecting it onto the HDMI jack there, and to my computer so that I can access and stream in 1080p. So I know that's important for some people who create videos and stream. I do art videos where yeah, I want that quality to be as good as possible, so that's why I use that. Would be nice one day if Sony does upgrade that. I'm not sure why they don't support 1080p streaming, only 720p streaming, but could be a data rate issue or software, something like that. But yeah, it's good that it has that option as well. You've also got a headphone jack in there as well, so don't get confused, that's microphone and headphone. So, and I really like that these ports as well are quite sturdy. I thought initially they might snap off, but they've held up very well. I've had this camera now for, geez, like nearly, I'm not sure how now, maybe 1.5 years or so. So let me see what's on the other side. You've got NFC connectivity as well. I'll just quickly show you the lens, this 28 to 200 lens, and usually I just lock it on 28 millimeters here when I'm not using it, so that it doesn't move around. Okay, it comes with this little I think it's like a flare guard, okay, as well. Use this sometimes outdoors when it gets a bit sunny. It also helps like if you want to block out a bit of rain and stuff like that. And the camera, I believe, is also weather sealed, same with this 28 to 200 lens. And I've actually used this outdoors in the rain like fairly often and haven't had any issues with it. So yeah, anyway, if this is what the lens looks like expanded out to 200, so I mean, this is really a bit much sometimes, but look, it gets the job done, I tell you that. And I'm not always on that 200, so it's a do-it-all lens. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Makes some great photos, especially for the price. You really can't beat that if you're an all-in-one. And so let me just pop this one back on. What else am I gonna go through and show you? So we'll turn it on. And there's lots of videos out there that show you how to use this camera, but I'll just go through a few and how I generally use it. So we can take the lens off. Actually, I was using it last night to take some flashlight videos. But yeah, there you have it. You also have a viewfinder here that you can look into. And when you actually get close to it, see, it switches the screen off automatically. This is a little focus knob there on the front of it as well. So basically, like, the great thing about this camera is that it can record in 4K, and there's a whole bunch of different options as well. So you can go in there and select like the file format. So I'll record actually in HD. Just makes it easier for me to edit on my computer. 4K can get a bit intensive for my computer, but even within the 4K video, you can select two different quality outputs: 600 megabits, 60 megabits and 100 megabits. And if you go back to HD, you can select all these different options here. I mean, it goes up to 25 frames per second, 50 megabits, and you got 50 frames per second, 50 megabits, 100 megabits. At 100 frames a second, so lots of recording options, but the 4K video is like that is really fantastic. You can just leave it on that 60 setting. I use the 4K setting when I just want to capture extra detail, and maybe I'm recording as well a little bit further away from the scene, so I want to be able to crop in and without losing details. So the 4K is really fantastic for that. Normally when I'm streaming my art videos, I just put it on, I just put it on 1080p. Another good thing is that it has this function here to control the camera with your phone, and you have to install an app called Edge Imaging or something like that, and it is excellent. So you can set the camera up from a distance and then control it pretty much through your phone. You can see what the phone is seeing through the viewfinder. You can change the aperture, pretty much most things on the phone, switch between movie mode, photograph mode, change, I don't know if you can change the bit rate, but most things on it, which is fantastic. It saves you from having to go back and checking the camera all the time, checking that it is doing the right thing. I did find though that around about 10 to 15 meters, the connection gets a little bit shoddy, so it connects using Wi-Fi. But it's a fantastic little feature. What else have you got on here? Look, the rest of it, can figure out. There you go, USB streaming. You can put it into USB streaming mode. I don't have a, what have I got there? Connect to USB cable. You can cancel by pressing the center button. Okay, there you go, cancel. Yep. The one of the things that annoys me a little bit is that the menu button it's the only button that you can press to go backwards. So yeah, basically just have to press menu every time you want to go back. But let me see, what else do we have here? You've got some more image options, so you can select whether you want to have raw output for your stills. Oh, this is really cool. So APS-C, there's APS-C Super 35 mode. So say you're in this, say you're in this sort of mode, you can actually press the down button. You've got to configure it so that it crops the image. And I believe if you have it in 4K, it actually preserves the detail. So this is really good. Like I said, if you are, if you're at say 200 millimeters of zoom, and then I want to further, it's not going to focus, then I want to further zoom in, it gets you that extra little zoom, and I find that that's really helpful for nature photography. This scrolly thing here controls the shutter speed. This one here controls the aperture. Okay, you've also got this manual adjustment here where you can adjust the exposure compensation, quickly lower down the, and I find this is a great little tool when you're taking a photograph and you just want to lower the exposure a little bit. You've got that here. You can really just reduce areas of the scene from blowing up. Some people just use the auto mode here up the top, so just point and click basically, and that's pretty much the easiest way to get started. If you don't know anything about cameras, it figures it all out for you. Monitors what's going on and adjusts accordingly. That's the record button up the top there. There are a few programmable modes, so there's these 3 programmable modes, but on top of that there's also other programmable modes that you can access. I think there's another 10, but you have to go into the menus and get them. So, but that's really cool that it has more than 3 in there, but you can access the top 3 that you want. I think there's priority mode, aperture, shutter mode, manual mode as well, movie mode here up the top, which I tend to use pretty much the most. When I'm streaming on this camera, I've never had any issues with it overheating at all, and this thing can pretty much record indefinitely. That's what I love about this camera. There's no recording limit, and the camera is able to hold up to basically record over a long period of time. This is the setting that you need to access to enable the camera to continue recording continuously without any limits. So auto power off temperature, you just need to set it to high. Normally when you go into it, it's just standard, but I set it to high, and really it doesn't produce any heat at all, just a little bit of warmth. Camera is able to handle it. There's also this mode here called cleaning mode that cleans the sensor, and it's really cool. Just go into it, select it, and it makes a vibrating thing. Yeah. Auto cleaning is off, turn the power off. So yeah, if you've got a bit of dust on the sensor, it's able to shake it off without you going in there and potentially damaging it. It's a great little feature. In the camera, you can set a bunch of these different picture profiles, okay, to alter the color and the feel, the look of the scene. They're just sort of presets in there. Alter the white balance as well. I normally set mine to about 5000K. Creative style as well. Look at that. There's even these different creative styles that you can add on here. I'm not sure what the difference is. You see, like the picture profiles and the creative style. Like if you had this, I don't know, if you had clear on, for example. Oops. And then you went in here, turn on picture profile 1, kind of thing, and go back into it. Okay, there you go. You can actually only select one. So if you've got picture profile 1, you can't select the other one. So maybe I'll just turn that off. I tend to just turn it off and yeah, basically stick it on to neutral. Yeah, that way I can edit it better in post-production. But yeah, that's basically it. So I hope this was useful for you. Hope this video was useful for you, and see you next time.